Go.
This is a handheld grinder. The on button and the handle. Make sure you don't touch this while it's spinning or it will bite you. That's what it does. Don't touch it, it's hot.
Good.
Can I show you one good view?
Go.
This is a bandsaw. Right here is the bandsaw. This is the on button, and this is the off button. To turn it on, you want to click the on button. And when you're cutting, you want to keep your hands away from the blade, because it'll give you some owies. And wait till it gets to full speed before you insert. And shut it off and make sure the blade has completely stopped before you get your piece of wood out.
Go.
This is a lock to lock the blade down if you want it to be locked like that. And if you don't want it to extend, you can come and crank this down all the way. And then you can loosen this if you want to move the angle of it. So I'm just going to leave it at 0. And keep your hands outside of this little gap right here. And this is a holdy downy, so it doesn't fly away on you.
A clamp.
Holdy downy.
Sure.
So when you're going to do it, this right here is the power button. So make sure the blade is not on the wood when you start it. So when you go to cut it, pull it all the way out, turn it on. And cut your piece of wood.
So this is a bench grinder, and right now I am plugging it in. And now I have to grab my tool, whatever. And now I'm gonna turn it on. This is the on button. Did it. Now I'm putting the weld to sharpen it up to make it smooth. To make it clean it off. Make it more smoother over here.
What else do you have to say? Good doing that.
Now I'm gonna turn it off. You have to stand here to wait to calm the motor and everything down, and you can step away from it. Now it's off, and you can unplug it when you're done with it. And then after you're done with it, you can like lay it down and like work on your project. And the other thing, you can wear gloves. I didn't, that you can tell. You always have to wear your glasses for protection. And that's all. We're recording.
Go.
Okay. So this is a band. So I clamped the wood to hold it down till you sand it, and here's the on button. Okay, on button. And let it warm up till, and then lay it down. No pressure at all. And let it rotate.
Go.
So you have to, with the plug, always put it right side of your body, not towards the wood. And you turn it on, this button, and this is your holder. Pressing down on the sander to make it smoother.
Can I give you some pointers? You're fine. Can I give you some pointers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Table, and this is a cathedral saw.
Go.
Always wear your safety glasses all time using equipment. So this is the table saw that y'all see. For the wood, you have to press the wood on the side by the measurement, and this is the length. You decide what length you want. So I want the ending length of it. And down here is the on and off switch. So I'm turning it on and waiting for the red to be gone. So now I'm gonna use it. Pull it. Now I'm gonna press it. Now turn it off. And this is just leveling the table saw for a certain amount. We're good now?
Go.
Okay, so this is the router. You have your on buttons, and these are your handles. You have your blade down here, and then your shoe, and then actually it's a guard, but you want to make sure you keep your cord away from it, and then have your blade a little bit off the wood, and then press start. And you want to make sure that you don't move too slow like I did, and it'll burn it. But if you move too fast, it just won't cut it. And then make sure that that's shut off before you set it back down. Okay, this is a Sawzall. So obviously the blade, and then this is the shoe, and then this, if you lift it up, you can take the blade out and switch your blades. And then on button, battery, and you're gonna make sure you hold on to this part tight, and you just set it down right here, and then make sure your blade's not touching the wood when you start it. And then wait till the blade stops and pull it out. And yeah. Okay, you can touch it. Is that cut big enough? Like, okay. So,
Go.
okay, this is the jigsaw. So this is the shoe, obviously the blade. You can change your angles of the blade right there. This is the on button. You can change your speed with this dial. And then make sure your cord's out of the way. And your wood's like safely clamped down. And you want to put your shoe on the wood, but make sure the blade's not touching it whenever you start it. And then you just kind of you don't want to like lift it up and move it around until the blade is done moving. And you don't want to like point at people too much. Okay. Okay, Nathan.
Hi everyone, I'm Nathan Cochran, and today I'm going to show you the rules how to use an arc welder. So first, make sure this is your ground. Make sure you always want to have this in a safe spot. As on this welder, it already has a spot, so just put it right there. Next step is get anything clear out of your way and make sure it's plugged in. Third step is you gotta find you a piece of metal. Just like right here. We'll use something like this. Never mind. We'll just use this. Get your pencil. Wait, no, this ain't a pencil. Electrode. Next step you're gonna do, you're gonna take your electrode. You gotta come over here. Prop your gloves down. You gotta get this. We don't use this crappy stuff. We put new ones in every time. That's what you're gonna wanna do. Your electrodes go right inside here. I like to go the second notch from the top. Next step is you're going to turn your welder on. Make sure it's on the plus side. And on this piece of metal, we're going to run it at 70 amps. Before you start, you're going to go ahead and start. Make sure you got a good thing. Wait, but there's more. You got to make sure you got your gloves on. make sure your welder's off, because you don't want that to spark when you're not paying attention. So get you a pair of gloves and you're going to want to put it on. I prefer the Lincoln Electric gloves. Next step is take the handle, turn it on, make sure your welding helmet's down, and weld away. Now there may be a problem, just like there. You didn't have good contact. You're going to want to slide it. What you're going to do, turn your amperage up too. Go up to 90. Now try it. Get you a good bead.
Go.
But wait, there's one more step before you even think about laying a bead. If you're in the open, you always want to yell, "Cover!" Just like that. You're going to kind of come over here, get you a hammer and a brush, because you want to make it look as pretty as you can. Now come over here, I'm going to show you. Take it and get the sludge off of it. Beat it off of there. Take your brush, brush some of that off of there. Now come look how fresh this bead is. But wait, don't get too close, it's still hot. Next step is, it's hot, right? Go take it over there. But wait, you want to get a pair of pliers because it's way too hot. And Miss Shoney gets mad at you when you don't follow directions. Get you a pair of pliers. I like these ones because they're big. Take a piece of metal, grab it with the pliers, come over to a bucket of water and cool it off. And once you dip it in there, it'll cool off quicker than if you're doing something with a cutting torch. And what you want to do, you want to place it up here so people know it still may be a little hot. And that is how you correctly use an arc welder. Hi, I'm Nathan Coughlin. And on today's episode, I'm going to be teaching you how to use a cutting torch. Or if you're a mainstream guy, you'd call it an oxyacetylene torch. I call it a cutting torch because I'm a redneck. First things first, you're only going to get it out of here. First step in using the oxyacetylene torch is get you a clamp because you don't want this piece of metal to go anywhere. You want it to be safely on the table. So go ahead and clamp it to the table. However you'd like, I just prefer it hanging off so you can have good mobility on your cutting torch handles. Don't be like me and unwind it a bunch because it takes forever to do that. There, once you got that safely in there, second step is you're going to want to get the cutting torch ready. So go ahead and unwind your hose. Don't drop stuff like I do. You don't have to have a lot of cord unless you're planning on doing something part way. Next step is you're always going to want to use gloves while you're using this, but what I like to do is put one glove on because it's hard to match it when you got another glove on. So what I like to do is put my left hand glove on. If you're left hand dominant, then you'll want to put your right glove on. First step first, lay it safely here. Now you're going to want to turn your oxygen all the way up on the bottle. You always want to turn it on first. So that's all the way open. Now you're going to want to set your pounds to 40 pounds. Right there. So your oxygen is ready to go. Next step is get your acetylene ready. So you're only going to want to go a quarter turn on the bottle on this. So when you open it, go about right there. So a quarter turn. The next step is on your pounds on the gauges on your acetylene, you want to go 5 pounds. So take your little dial and show them on here. We're going to want to go to that 5. So just crank it till it's all the way up to 5. So right there. Next step is you always want to turn your acetylene on first. Don't touch the oxygen until your acetylene's lit. So what we're going to use to light it is, I call it a flint lighter. I don't know the actual thing, but you just light it like that. So your first step is your bottom handle is always your acetylene. So barely crack it, and then you just want to light it like that. Be careful, you don't got a glove on, and that's just mine. Next step is you're going to want to turn your acetylene up, about right there. Next, you're going to want to mess with your oxygen. So your oxygen is always the one on the side. So, always get it about right there. We're gonna go down all the way right there. Make sure it'll. This is what you do once you get the steel hot enough. You're gonna blow that. Next, you're gonna want to take it until you start cutting. You're gonna want to get it red hot. So you literally just sit here, and it's almost like my oxygen's about to run out. You're gonna want to sit here, get it red hot before you start cutting. You notice how the metal's getting red hot. About right, it's red hot. You're going to want to kind of start. Sometimes it'll pitter-patter with you. It ain't hot enough. So you just want to keep holding it there until it's even more hot. I think we're about out of oxygen. I don't know what it's doing.
It always looks like that.
Oh, it does? What? You're good, keep going. point where it quits cutting, you gotta reheat it. Make a video coming. The way you turn your bottles off, or the way you're going to want to drain your hoses. So say you close your bottle, your acetylene bottle off first, you're going to want to drain your acetylene on the torch first. And the same way goes with oxygen. You're going to want to turn your oxygen off first, and then you're going to want to drain your oxygen in your lines first. Here, cut your metal. The piece that you were cutting off of is still hot, so you're going to want to cool that down. Like that. That comes it off. That's dangerous. Make sure while you're doing that, you're going to want to have a good hold on it while you're loosening your flame. You're going to take it back over to the water. Pull it off. Always put it on the yellow paper. Make a video coming. The way you turn your bottles off, or the way you're going to want to drain your hoses. So say you close your bottle, your acetylene bottle off first, you're going to want to drain your acetylene on the torch first. And the same way goes with oxygen. You're going to want to turn your oxygen off first, and then you're going to want to drain your oxygen in your lines first. On this episode of what Nathan Cochran does in the shop, or how to use, we're going to go for a wood press. Kind of like a drill press for metal, just for wood. So in this demonstration, we're going to be teaching you how to drill a hole in a piece of wood. First step is you gotta get a clamp. Because you always want to clamp your wood down to the press, because you don't want it to spin around when you're drilling. In this instant, we'll just use what Zach had. Make sure you have it right where the hole is. The hole is where your bit will end up, so make sure you have it right as center as you can get it on the press. Next thing is you're going to want to clamp it down so it don't turn while you're clamping or drilling. Next step is you got to have a bit. Now, to correctly install a bit into the drill press, this is called the clamp. This clamps on to the bit. So you're always going to turn it all the way out so you can install your bit. And to do that, you're going to want to do this. Put it right on the bottom. There's a hole where you put it. And you're going to go all the way out until it's firmly there where it stops. And this, I call it a key. This is to make sure it's tight. So there's little holes on each side. You always want to do it at least twice on two of the holes. Now it's going counterclockwise. So you're going to want to stick it in there where it's all the way in there and turn it until it's completely tightened. And I always like to do it twice just to make sure it's good. Just like that. And while we're doing this, we'll go ahead and do it 3 times. Just be extremely safe. Tighten it. Then you just install this back where it was. Now the next step is you're going to want to see exactly where it's going to point. So in this instant, I made a little hole to show you where that's going to go. Next step is get some safety glasses, because it's not safe to be in the shop without safety glasses. Put your safety glasses on and you're good to go. Now if you can read, it says start. That's what starts the drill press up. So you're just going to push it. Now you're going to want to go all the way down. You're not going to want to just...
Look at the way that bit's wiggling. I want to try to tighten it a little more. It was like this. Just don't use it yet, just turn it on.
I wonder if it's bent.
Or, hey. Yeah, look at where it's at. That needs to go up further in there.
I caught it. Now, as I was explaining, to start it, you just push the start button. Now, as you're going down, you don't want to enter it like, you want to go slowly. So go down slowly and lightly start it. And then keep just going. As you get in more into the wood, you're going to have to put more pressure on it. Now, it's a lot different than, say, you're cutting metal, because this ain't hard. So it's real easy to do. Now we are all the way through. And what I like to do, I just want to do this 3 or 4 times to make sure the hole's clean. Now, first thing you want to do, stop it. And I normally just blow it off. Here's the hole we created. And the first thing you want to do is take your bit back out. So just in case if you were to push that, you're not harmed by it. Your arm gets into there and it can grab your shirt and hurt you. Next thing you're going to do, you're going to want to take your neat little tool, get as far up in there as you can, and loosen it. And normally you can do that on the first try. Now make sure you don't grab the tip because it's normally pretty hot when you just got done cutting. Make sure your bit's in a safe place. Next thing you're going to do is take your clamp off. Put it where you want it. And observe your work that you just did. So, got you a fresh little hole. Now, you're done.